Life, man. Welcome to another episode of Trucker Talk, man. Mr. George, I know you funny, man. You're a funny guy.
Hey, we went off the air being silly, y'all.
How you doing today, my brother?
Hey, you know I'm good. Church was good.
Man, Baptism Sunday, man.
It's still a little chilly outside there, though.
Yeah, it was chilly outside.
No, it still is.
Well, yeah, it is. I noticed that getting out of church. So,
Yep.
well, going in church and getting out. But yeah, man, the message today, it was
Yep.
It was a touching message.
Yep. We're on marriages. That falls under relationships.
Yeah.
Actually gonna fall into friendships.
Friendships, relationships, it's
Yep.
it's all a challenge, but you have to understand them, and as we get older, they become more important, which they're important, but as you get older, you realize how important they really are.
And actually, I would say they're more valuable.
More valuable, okay. I like that. I'm gonna go ahead and knock it off with the safety tip for the day. No matter how long you've been driving, complacency is the enemy. I can attest to that. At least 1 second for every 10 foot of vehicle length at speeds under 40 miles an hour. So you add 1 extra second when driving over 40 miles an hour. So for most tractor trailers, or as you say, vehicles, personal vehicles, that's 6 to 7 seconds minimum.
Yep.
Why does that matter? It matters because it gives you reaction time. It reduces hard braking. It prevents rear end accidents. It saves fuel. It protects your CDL or your driver license, and it keeps you alive.
Yes. And from a non-commercial vehicle, from my standpoint, because I drive a non-commercial vehicle, but at the same time, all those things still apply to us as well. Keeping a safe distance, because also your tractors, it takes a little bit longer for them to stop. They load it, and you close up on them. When they go to stop or slowing down, they're not going to be able to stop as fast as the tractor trailer will. They can't do it.
Right.
But we as non-commercial drivers got to space to stop and be patient and understanding they're driving a truck that's loaded full of product, so they don't have that flexibility to bob and weave out of lanes at the same time either.
Right, and then when it's empty, a whole another story. It takes off.
Yes.
Because you ain't got no weight behind it.
Yep.
So I remember when I first was testing for my CDL, I would always, I don't know why, but I got that question wrong for the first time, because in your mind you're thinking, well, it's empty, it's gonna stop. But no, it's a different story when it's empty versus it being weighed down. So today we're gonna talk about being a friend is hard, and brotherhood ain't easy. Friendship in grown man season. Nobody prepares you for how hard it is to maintain friendships as a grown man. It come a point in time with me, and I'm just asking questions. When did we stop talking every day? Why does it feel harder to connect now? Why do some friendships fade even without beef? This episode is about loyalty, growth, distance, and emotional maturity. Man, I go back. Well, I could go back for friendships, and this will come up later on in the episode, but I'm gonna go back to when I was 19 and I had a son. My son's mom had our son. I thought I had like 100 friends, man. And at a young age, I realized nobody wanted to be around a young
father.
Well, a young man. Well, I guess young father, but young man, kid.
Yep.
So it took me to get in my my late 20s. I'll say middle 20s. Well, my middle 20s to late 20s to establish friendships. Some of those friendships I still have day because there again, you got to nurture them, you got to communicate, you check in, and if you don't hear from somebody, like I have people, even though I'm working a different shift and different schedule, I still have people that checks in. They text me. They text me different times of the
Right.
night, different times of the morning, but they're still checking in.
Yeah. And that's something we know, even when you took this position, that's something I told, we had this conversation way before or during that time. It's like, I know your schedule. I understand your schedule. You call me when you ready to talk because I'm up. Our timing is just opposite of each other.
Right.
And for the respect of your time, your space, I allowed myself to step back and let you be the first to call because at that point you're able to talk or have a conversation without having trying to work and do all this at the same time. Me, I can work and talk too, but
Right.
our time was different. But going back to what we were saying, the friendship, I'll step back and allow you to that space where you can come in and say, "Hey, I'm ready to talk now because I'm able to." So
Right. Like I said, I pick, certain times of the day depending on because I know you don't get up to a certain time.
yeah,
So I know when to call you there
Mhm.
again and when not to.
Yeah.
So why friendships gets harder, why friendships get harder as we age. So work takes priority, fatherhood changes time and energy. Everybody's on different life's path, on a different life's path. Um, Healing changes who you relate to. Pride stops communication. I've been there with some people. I ain't gonna say no names.
Yes.
We assume he knows I'm solid, and I've been there before,
Yeah.
man. And as we grow, sometimes our friendships either grow with us or they grow apart. So I had see, I'm just trying to see where I'm gonna go with this. Um, I know it seems like it's like when I was at Coca Cola. I knew a lot of people at Coca Cola, and I had a lot of friendships, and I still have good relationships. But when I had to switch, or when I switched jobs, I remember when I went to Cisco. It was still my schedule was still kind of similar to my Coca Cola schedule, but I was still communicating with some of those guys and some, the salesmen. But it seems like you can jump from this job to that job, and depending on, like I said, how close you are with them people, either they in I'm gonna just tell you real quick. Just like you said, you'll go to your phone.
And you know what I do?
You'll send a text message out of either, they respond on this day, that day, holiday. If you don't hear back from them, it's like, okay, I guess we just don't need to talk,
But and protecting myself, I do give a grace period of a year.
You do. You give a grace period.
I give a period
like
of 1 year because that's just the way I am mentally. I think about it because it's to me, and we've talked about this. It's too draining and sometimes emotionally challenging to try to force friendships.
It
And
is.
if I don't talk to you personally within a year, we're probably not friends. We may be long distance associates. That's just my view on it. So I figure, if I reach out to someone and they hadn't replied, so you know how I am. I try to give excuses for everything. Number change. I lost my phone. I lost your number, even though it's on the phone. I've been busy. We moved, and I just found my phone. I got a new phone and had your number. But I give all that. That's why I give a year grace period.
Right.
Sometimes I give 2 years, depending on if I want to get, if I just feel generous.
2 years pushing.
That's pushing. I know, but sometimes I would do it. Sometimes I still give that grace. But my thing is, if you don't talk to a person, in my opinion, a friendship is somebody you kind of know a little bit about them. That's where I see it. And so if you don't talk to them enough, you're not going to know enough about them. And if you don't talk to them regularly, you really don't know anything about them. So then they become associates because that thing of out of sight, out of mind. That's where that comes into when people change their jobs. I think
Right.
Not in the same business umbrella, so you don't see each other anymore. Say if you were driving and you in this different company, so you said, "Well, I'm going to go to another company." Well, so and so quit, so we don't really talk that much. But think about it, we still got telephones.
Correct.
But it's that out of sight, out of mind kind of mentality, and I think that works because it works both ways too. So, but I do reach out to people, and you know how I do. I do the Christmas.
Yes.
Thanks. I do all holidays and all birthdays if I can remember. So, but like I said, they don't reply back in a year's time. like, nah, something happened, so I'm gonna give her another 30 days, and then I'll just delete the number, or I'll text him back just to finalize my thought.
Just to
So
make just to
make sure,
confirm.
yeah, in case they lost their phone, they may have lost the phone
Correct.
and got a new phone. And I always that happens. Of course, I don't have the new number if they got a new phone. That wouldn't matter, but I
Right.
still try it anyway. But anyway, that's where that story's going.
Correct. So okay, so the unspoken struggles of male friendships, and people, some men can relate to this, some men can't. We don't check in emotionally, and like and just like with me and you talking, like I told you, I've been in my feelings, I've been in my emotions, and as long as we've been friends, when something's bothering me, when something's wrong with me, but you always stay on me. You like,
Yeah.
You encourage me, you always stay on me. So, I kind of like been in a funk, man. And I think well, at the church, I was telling you, I was like, man, look, at 41, even though I had to be strong most of my life, when I start to break and when I start to, I go into that, I got a defense mechanism where I kind of shut down, I get in the shell, and I'm just like, I ain't want to talk to nobody. I don't want nobody to know what's going on. But I'm at a point now, I'm like, you get to the older you get, you can't keep doing it. You have to, you got to open up and you got to, lean on people and reach out to people. And so, and just like I think about last May when I lost my job, man, or when we got laid off, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Either way, you became unemployed.
I became unemployed. So, but that hit me, and I'm gonna go back to a story. That hit me so hard. I had a friend of mine. He reached out to me and he was being a friend, and he was like, "Hey man, if you need anything, boom, 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 XYZ." And I was just like, I say, "Look, don't worry." It came out wrong. I said, "Look, don't worry about it. You got your family to take care of. Don't worry about me like that." And he said, "Okay." And then it hit my spirit. So I called him. I was like, "Hey man, look," I said, "I'm hurt. I'm pissed off.
Yep.
I shouldn't have took it out on you." And he said, when you said that, I knew you was upset. I knew you was hurt, but I didn't respond because I knew you was hurting. And I said, "Yeah, I was."
Awesome.
So I lost it, man. So, but I'm getting better now about that. So now, like I said, the older I get, I'm gonna lean on people. I'm gonna find people that to lean on to. So, we don't address tension directly. So we disappear, and there again, we disappear instead of communicating. That's one of the things I do. We struggle to say, "I miss you, bro." We don't know how to repair conflict. A lot of men would rather lose a friend than have an uncomfortable conversation.
Good morning.
And I'm gonna say that again. A lot of men would rather lose a friend than have an uncomfortable conversation. And I'm gonna go to the uncomfortable conversation because from experience, I can talk about this, and even with family, I had, not gonna go all into details, but sometimes you and family can have conflict.
Yep.
But I'm grateful to say that, after going to therapy and working through some of the personal issues that I had coming up, that, the whole uncomfortable conversation, I've been there. I've been there with with the sibling, with my sibling, and it worked out, but trust me, it was very uncomfortable. It was an emotional.
Yeah.
It was beautiful because you can look at each other, you can say, "Hey, you're my brother." And it's like the body language and all that, we raised in the same house, and just the whole, I guess, being uncomfortable, but it takes, men to come to each other and talk and have that conversation and work those things out. So yeah, it was very uncomfortable, but you move past that and you grow from that too.
Two, even piggybacking on that, I think sometimes just, I listen to people talking, even personal experiences. It also depends on how you're brought up. What your surrounding has allowed you to, for most men, I can't say whether it's black or white or any nationality. If you probably grow up say, well, Men don't share their emotions. Men don't show emotions. You know,
Right.
we don't. We got to be strong. Do some push-ups. Be hard about it. And that
Right.
sometimes that is not. That's what I think. To me, I think mental illness start creeping in when you start letting all that stuff build up, and it's you haven't talked about it, or you haven't expressed those feelings to anybody. You just keep everything bottled up, and eventually it just destroys you from the inside to the outside, and it shows in your reactions to conflict. It shows to
Right.
your reaction to spouses and loved ones. Like, why is she mad? In fact, we were talking about this. Incident happened not long. Oh, I told you, I called you Friday. About a thing happened
Yes.
at work,
Yes.
and
Yes.
everybody. Long story short, this and I'm gonna break it down that because it's private. But this person kind of like left, and nobody knows who this person was. But talking to this other person, they said, "Well, yeah, we noticed there was a change. We noticed this, we noticed that, but this person never talked about it." So obviously, this even going back to the friendship thing, I don't think anybody ever asked us, "Is everything okay?"
Correct.
So they just kind of like, well, maybe that's just the way this person is. But they noticed all the changes in behavior.
Right.
But it was just again going back to keeping stuff bottled up. You don't talk about it, and it will get you eventually, and it does. It causes so many. It's a domino effect of what you don't do that what end up getting done if you don't take care of things. So mental health, going back to mental illness, so serious.
It's real, man.
It's such a serious thing, and people just. I think sometimes we just like, you know how they are. They just that way. It's like,
Right.
it's a reason why they're that way.
But it'll come out, like I said, and from personal experience, it comes out the wrong way. And
Yeah.
with me, it comes out the worst way because I can be, a lot of people view me and they're like, man, you strong, you're independent, you're this, that.
They see
And
the
then,
outside.
then when I start spazzing out, I start, having these anxiety attacks. So they like, what's going on with
Yeah.
you? Why are you acting like that?
Yeah.
I'm like, look, all that stuff that I keep inside and what you used to seeing, like this is,
Couples
the
running
stuff.
over.
This is the stuff that I've kept bottled up, and so and people, somebody said something about I post about healing all the time and stuff like that because I said healing from things from the past. I'm healing from just things I used to do and just the way I used to live my life. So and people can take it any kind of way they want to, but when you get away from some things and you're trying to, I guess, not walk the walk, but you're trying to walk down the right better road.
Yeah.
Some of those things from your past can come back and haunt you. They can
Get in the way.
they can hit you in the worst way. I said that about night shift. I was been a couple of weeks ago. I was riding one night, man. I'm talking about. I tell people I listen to my music, my R&B, my gossip, and just other stuff. And my mind is just. I'm just driving down the road. I'm just focused on just driving, and then something negative like that can hit me. Next thing I know, it'll have me. I'm convicted. I'm feeling like this. I'm feeling like that. And then I'm like, wait a minute. That was another version. And this is what I have to remember. And I hope somebody can learn something from this. And me and Jason had this conversation one day. And Jason's like, look, man, that was an older version. That was another version of you. This is who you are today. You're
Yeah.
not doing those same things. So you got to let it go. You can't let it eat you up.
Yep.
Even though, I mean, we all a lot of things we all not proud of. We've done some things, and it's like, okay, I've been there, I've done that, but I'm not going down that road again.
Right,
So he's like, well, quit beating yourself up.
Yeah.
He's like, the way I see it, and Jason it's funny when he gives me advice. I look because I mean he jokes all the time, and so when he's giving me advice, I'm just like, okay, Jason, I'm listening to you. All right, whatever. but I appreciate him giving me advice because it's good to because me and him been converting back and forth,
Mhm.
in the mornings now. So it's good that we lean on each other.
Each other, yeah.
So, but go ahead. Sorry.
No, it's kind of like a inside support group.
Correct. It's like we got a group message.
Yeah.
4 of us, the 4 amigos. But
Yeah.
so one friend's. I'm gonna talk about this. One friend evolving, the other friend staying the same, which that can cause some conflict.
I can see that.
Outgrowing party lifestyles, which I've outgrown the partying lifestyle. I don't do that no more. So therapy and healing changes conversations. and I'm gonna come back to that. Choosing peace over chaos. So, say not every friendship ends because of betrayal, but some end because of direction. I'm gonna say that again.
Mhm.
Not every friendship ends with betrayal. Some ends with because of direction. So, back to the therapy and the healing and changing as far as conversations. There was a book. I can't think of the name of it. It's a book about complaining. I was telling somebody about that book, and I was telling a friend of mine, Trevor. He gave me he's like, check that book out. So I checked it out. Basically, it just the way people get up in the morning, they start to complain. So it was just saying, try not to complain when you get up in the morning. Like, I'm talking about, like, say if you drop something, you get mad, or if you
Mhm.
get in your car and maybe your check engine light's on, or
Yeah.
you spill your coffee or something like that. Just the small things that you complain about, or getting in traffic. You
Yeah.
get on Clinton Highway and you're trying to get to work. Somebody's going 40 miles. You're like, why are they going 40 miles an
Yeah.
hour? Instead of just getting over and just going on,
Yep.
just small, simple things, and I'm guilty of it when I'm in a tractor trailer, but I guess I'm not gonna say it's no excuse, but it's raining. If somebody's driving like an idiot,
Not gonna stop. You can't do it.
I get a little irritated.
Yeah.
So I try not to complain, but I'm just like, wait a minute, you gonna either kill me or you gonna kill yourself.
Yes. Mhm.
So that brings just up concerns me. But yeah, but it was a good book though. Pretty good book.
That was pretty good. I like that analogy. That's good though, because those, I always say, good information. Nobody knows everything, so it's always good information from other sources.
And it is, man. It is. So go this. So how to be a better friend. And I've been working on this since
Mhm.
last year. You send the check-in text, you schedule time intentionally, you communicate instead of assuming, apologize when you're wrong, you support even when you don't fully understand.
Yep.
And then you had this conversation when you say, what you say, I'm what you call me?
It's depending on what day it is.
You said when people call me and I'm listening to them, what do you call it?
I can't remember, but it's gonna come back.
Purpose.
Purpose. Yes.
You always throw
got
that.
your
You always throw
purpose.
that at my face, and
Your
I'm just
purpose.
like,
That was one of the book I was reading
I
as
was
well.
like,
Yeah,
whew.
one of my motivational books,
But
inspirationals.
yeah, but I mean, it's good because, and like I said, I tell people, they be like, I'm like, I don't understand what they're going through, but I'm like, if you want to call me, I'll listen to you,
Yep.
and I can listen. It ain't not saying it ain't hurt me, but I'm listening to what you're saying. I just give them encouraging words, and I'll be like,
Yep.
you know what, I'm gonna pray for you,
Yep.
add you to my prayers. That's about all I can do, because I
Perfect.
can't fix the situation for them, but listening to somebody helps.
It changes a lot because
Yes,
sometimes all somebody wants is somebody just to listen. Don't fix
correct.
my problem. Just
Just
hear how I
listen.
feel about it.
Correct. That helps out a lot.
Yeah.
So, you got to respect boundaries. So you can say being a real friend isn't about proximity. I can't say that word. Isn't about proximity. It's about consistency. Write that down right.
You can explain
So
it. Yep, we'll get it. They get it.
I was scribbling.
Yeah, just excuse us, y'all. We ain't perfect.
Being a real friend isn't about proximity. It's about consistency. But I'm gonna go to the personal reflection. So, and I'm gonna have you share. I'm gonna give these 4 or 5 different things. So, a friend that you had to let go, or a friend who showed up for you, a time you weren't being best friend because you were overwhelmed, or how fatherhood changed your circle. Which one of them you think you can give a personal?
I think if a friend I have to let go, normally when I let go of friendships, it's a lack of communication. If I don't have that reciprocation of, if I'm reaching out
Mhm.
and then they're not reciprocating, and I'm reaching out, and I'm like, I was going back to I give that grace period or a long period of time. So if I don't hear from them for a long period of time, but then that kind of piggybacks on what you were talking about. Find out why. But normally
Okay.
that's when I would do it. I lose a friendship if I don't hear from a person in a while, and if I try to reach out and I don't hear anything back from them,
Right.
then I'm assuming assuming that we're probably not friends anymore, or something has happened where we have that distance has come between us.
Right. Right.
I don't think I've not had an instant thing in fatherhood. I mean, because all my kids are grown, but
Right.
um,
No, it's just says how fatherhood changed your circle.
I think it changed. Well, that really changed because that's piggybacking on what you were talking about. I think most, say if you got friends that don't have kids, and this can go for women as well.
Yeah.
If they don't have kids, you can't do the stuff I do. You can't stay
Right.
out late. You got to go home and feed your child at whatever time, or you got to go pick the child up at a certain time. But they want to stay out all night long. So I can see where that becomes a problem. To a friendship, but when I say that, I would say that's kind of good. Now you know who your friends really are. If they
Right.
because you're choosing, they want you to choose their lifestyle
Over your
over your son
your
or your new
child.
lifestyle.
Yes.
So I would say yes. You might want to just cut them off and be done with it because you're not going to be able to do the things that they want to do or that
Right.
they can do that you can't do anymore.
Right. Like it.
What was the other one?
Time you weren't your best. You weren't the best friend because you were overwhelmed.
I've never had that one. I've never had that one yet.
I'm gonna tell the story about a friend that I had to let go. I talked about this last year on one of the episodes, and I had a good friend. Well, I had a friend that when one of my good friends passed away, he was cutting my hair. He was there for me, listening there. I mean, think about it. I'm sitting in the seat.
Oh,
You
I
know where
got
I'm
you
going
now.
with this one. I'm sitting in the seat. He cut my hair and everything. So so I'm confiding in him. Talking to him and everything. Of course, hardest lesson I learned, was letting people borrow money. He borrowed some money from me. I ain't gonna say the amount, but he borrowed some money, and he wrote me a promise note or whatever you want to call it. And the days to the months to the year, he kept saying, "I'm gonna," and it took me about a year, half a year to realize I wasn't gonna get my money back. Then I stopped. I mean, I was setting appointments up, getting my haircut, paying for them. So so when I started reflecting and thinking about it, I was like, I'm paying for a haircut.
Money.
You owe me money. You knew you wasn't gonna pay me my money. I'm still paying you for a haircut.
Yeah.
That hit me in the worst way. Just processing it like that.
Yeah, I think we talked about that too, and I kind of gave you
So
some opinion, not advice. I gave you an opinion about what to do about that as well.
yeah, so it hit me in the worst way, and I was just like, "You're stupid." I was like, "I'm stupid." At that point, I'm like, "You're a fool," but I wasn't a fool. I'm a giving person. I like to help people out, but as I've gotten older, I've learned to just give out money. I don't let nobody borrow no money. I'll give it to you.
Yep.
But certain people, not everybody. So, but yeah, that was a story. So that ended that friendship real quick because there again, I was working on some stuff, and I was working on forgiveness. And so what I ended up doing was getting a note, and found out he had a new shop somewhere, and I got his new number because I was texting the wrong number the first, second. This is the third new number he had. So I told him, I said, look, I said, I forgive you. I said, I'm not worried about the money. I said, I wish you nothing but the best. I hope you were successful, with your business. And I think he came back with, hey, and I'm just like, don't worry about it. I wish you nothing but the best. So that right there, that was a hard situation because there again, you push something like that so far back in your mind, you battle with that because it comes out. Like I said, it comes out when I get up in the morning. It may run across my mind. If I'm out working, if I see a barbershop, it may run across my mind.
Yep.
So there again, that's something you still carrying, but when you let it go and release it and put it behind you, I mean, you don't think about it no more.
Yep.
So that was one thing that, as far as an example that I was going to use for that. But closing message. Brotherhood doesn't just survive on history, it survives on effort. So I want to encourage the listeners to reach out to that one friend today. Fix one broken connection. Be the friend that you expect. Got anything else on that, brother?
I like that. Tell them again.
Okay, I want to encourage the listeners today. So reach out to that one friend today. Fix one broken connection and be the friend that you expect.
I like that. I listen to radio station. They got this saying they say every afternoon. They said the world is full of good people. Can't find one, be one.
Wow.
Yep. They say it every day, and I'm thinking that does make a lot, and it's so true. It is. It's so true because we looking for this. We're looking for this. In fact, Pastor Austin spoke about that too as well, about being what you expect.
Correct.
Yes, so it makes sense. Logically, it does make sense. And sometimes it can be a little complicated, but just they again put forth the effort to do better than you normally would do.
Correct. Yeah, Malachi, he told me, it's probably about 3 years ago, he told me to be the change that you want to see.
Oh, my goodness.
And I told myself, I'm like,
good night.
It's coming from my son.
You got to send that to me in a text. I'm going to use it.
You said be the change.
That's awesome.
At that time, when I was going through the forgiveness and all that, I was telling him about it. He's like, be the change you want to be, Daddy. And I was like,
that's deep, man.
I'm like, what?
That's good.
Where you get that from?
Yeah, no, that's good. That's good.
So, but yeah, but
you're underestimating. I told you that yesterday too. You're underestimating.
Yeah, I love it.
Gosh,
I love it, young man.
I
But
like it.
yeah, but as my nephew say, like, subscribe, comment, and share. But yeah, you got anything else, man?
No, we're good. I think we
All right.
kind of got our point across, and hope everybody the best of whatever they're doing is try to be better than you were the day before.
Yes, and I hope everybody have a good week. And as always, man,
Appreciate you.
10-4. Y'all have a good day.
It's the drip from you, Strozar.